figure that out. For example, maybe some of you have heard this from youth. I know I used to say this when I was younger, unfortunately, because I didn't know any better. More? Okay. We're being asked again that we're running out of space, so if mu'mineen mu'minat can move forward as well, inshallah, a bit more. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. This is just as well, please. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. For the love of Sayyidah Fatima, one more salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. I'm adding a couple minutes onto my time because of this, alright? So nobody come to me after and say I went over my time. I'm taking the moving forward. I'm not counting that. I'm pausing it here. Alright, this is like a TED Talk. You get to pause that if you want. Okay. Okay. So, I know I used to say this when I was younger. And I know some youth, sometimes even adults, have this in their mind. The assumption is, okay, we read these hadith, sometimes we hear certain scholars or we read in books, it says music's haram. Don't listen to it, don't play it, you can't get involved. And you see all these other harsh riwayat in hadith. And then somebody says, hold on a second. Okay, the poetry, the noha, the matam that we do, isn't that music? There's melodies, there's beats, there's tones, right? There's a pace. Isn't that music? So wait, and then of course they make their own conclusion. Okay, therefore matam, noha, they're all haram too. And when they say that, what happens is the adult slaps them in the face, obviously. Like, what the heck is wrong with you? You can't say something like that. What they usually try to say is, no, nohas are not music. You don't know what you're talking about. It's poetry. You say, no, you're singing it. Again, they go back and forth. No, you're singing. No, you're not. And then, again, it doesn't go anywhere. As we had said, if they were to agree on an Islamic, a proper definition, then the discussion could go forward. That's what we need to do. So, first, ghina in Arabic does not mean music. Technically, during that time, and anybody here who knows the Arabic language better than me would confirm this, there's technically no word in Arabic, in the Fusha Arabic, that there is no word for music necessarily. Ghana, in the most technical meaning, at most can mean a certain type of singing. That's it. And some of our ulama say it means certain types of songs. So to say that ghana means all music is, one, it's grammatically and verbally incorrect. You can't say that. So then in terms of the Sharia, normally the Sharia, the Islamic law, takes a bit from the Arabic grammar, right? And from the actual lugha of Arabic, what it was back then. And then according to riwayat and other rules, and they apply that. So that's the first thing now we have to understand. Okay, if it doesn't mean all music, then what does it mean? No, I'm going to mention the explanation of two maraji, Ayatollah Sistani and Ayatollah Khamenei. Allah bless and protect both of them and all our maraji. Again, I'm not going to go into the details because it can get very confusing. And myself personally, I don't like to confuse and make everybody's lives difficult, right? I'm going to give you the general points. Okay? And for those who are interested, you're welcome to refer to your own marja and do your research. And again, I apologize if I don't refer to your marja here. So for Ayatollah Sistani, he basically says that all ghina is haram, right? But the way he describes it is that ghina is a certain type of song. So what is that type? He says when something has lahu and la'ib, when something is entertaining or amusing. And you're like, okay, what is this entertaining and amusing? We keep mentioning this stuff. And if you look in a lot of the hadith, and if you look in the books of the ulama, that's usually what they keep saying. The criteria is if this song, if the music, if the singing has to do or is connected with lah and la'ib, of entertainment and amusement, then it's haram and it's problematic. Again, we're going to say, hold on, there's a lot of things which are entertainment and a lot of things which are amusing. Are we going to say all of a sudden that singing happy birthday is haram? Like, it's entertaining, it's amusing, right? That's a problem. That doesn't make any sense. National anthems for countries, to some extent, they could be considered entertaining or amusing. Is that haram all of a sudden? We have to understand what this means. Let me mention what Ayatollah Khamenei says. He says that the way he describes ghina is more in terms of singing, a general type of singing. He says it's basically the way that people's voice, you can tell when people recite or they sing, their voice kind of moves in and out of keys, up and down, right? It's what you call voice modulation. For those who are Nahakhan and you're Sha'ir, you know that, right? When you're reciting, you switch different keys. Although you might not know the technical musical definition of vibrato and things like this, there's a whole study of music behind these things. And this kind of stuff is determined based on urf, based on the society that you're in. Meaning what? Okay. Somebody, I'm sure, recited adhan today. I recited, salah. We all recited together. So everybody here have been reciting poetry. Reciting poetry after. According to the common understanding of what singing is, would anybody say that they sang poetry, that they sang the adhan, that they sang the Quran, that they sang the surahs of the Quran? No. They'd say that they recited. Right? There's a clear difference when we ask people in this society. And if you're unsure, you can ask other individuals. Sometimes because of the other cultures we come from, it can get a little bit confusing, right? Again, because of these words. So a good kind of source would be somebody who's kind of born and raised here. They might be a better source for you to ask, right? Whether they're Muslim or not, doesn't really matter. You show it to them. Like, would you call this singing necessarily? Or is it like a recitation? Like the way that, for example, if you listen to monks, Christian monks, to call that singing is kind of a stretch, right? Like, it's a religious recitation, these hymns that they recite. It's tough to call that the entertainment and amusing type of singing that you would expect in certain, clubs or concerts and things like that. So that's one distinction. Now, okay, so what types of music, what types of songs are we talking about here then? So what they go on and say is that this entertainment is what it basically distracts individuals. It takes them away from Allah, exactly as the uncle had said over here, just like the point we have been mentioning. If this music, if this singing, with whatever we're doing is taking us away from Allah, and it should be, if we're honest, it should be clear to us, right? Then obviously that's going to be haram, right? So if it's something which is clearly against Islamic beliefs and values, right? If this person is singing about, murder and drugs and stealing and money and all this stuff, it's going to be tough to try to make that something spiritual. Yeah, I'm getting closer to Allah. How are you getting closer to Allah? Oh, I'm listening to these lyrics about, robbing and stealing and killing. Come on. Be honest, please. It's not going to work like that. No, I'm trying to learn about shaitan's ways. I'm messing around. That's not going to work like that, okay? Again, honesty number one. Okay, then what if you say, all right, it's not the obvious case, right? I'm unsure. Maybe it's the soundtrack to some movie, right? For example, I mentioned movies like Batman, Superman, Civil War, any movie that comes out, right? It's just instrumental. Maybe it's like Beethoven's Symphony or Mozart, something like that. If you're not sure whether it would be considered haram, whether it's that kind of distracting entertainment or amusement, then the default rule in Islam is if you're not sure if it's haram, then it becomes halal. It's okay, you can do it. Obviously, ihtiyat, precaution is always better, but it's not wajib. You don't have to do ihtiyat. You can say, listen, this, whatever, Mozart's Fifth Symphony, for example, right? Okay, fine. But I'm not sure if it's haram, or you could say that I know definitely that it's not that kind of entertainment, that kind of amusement. So you can listen to it and it's not a problem. Okay, there's one question left. Somebody might go back and say, listen, all that haram stuff you are talking about, right? Even if it's, let's say, like dance music and club music, which we clearly know it's haram because it's meant to distract people, right? There's haram stuff going on there. Okay, well somebody could say, listen, I listen to these kinds of things. I listen to these, curses and bad language and music. I listen to this quote-unquote dance music, whatever, this haram music. It doesn't affect me. I'm strong-willed. I got willpower. It doesn't affect me at all. It doesn't do anything to me. Is that a proper criteria? Is that a proper answer we can give? Inshallah, that's what we're going to start discussing tomorrow night, inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa So, tomorrow, inshallah, we'll have ended our discussion about music, and then we'll have, if we have time, then we can start the fourth ayah of that surah, which will be talking about zakah. And we'll see how far we can get with that. Obviously, I don't think we're going to be able to get through all the different ayat in Surah Mu'minun that we want to get through. And we said there's a lot of different verses, a lot of different characteristics that are mentioned here. Inshallah, we'll try to do what we can. And if there's specific points that individuals would like to be opened up, as I had said before, in the minbar now, because of the way that we're moving closer to the nights, closer to Ashura, it'll be very tough. So again, my advice is that for those who stay late or those who have time on the weekends, it's better if we just have kind of our open discussion either before or probably better yet after the program, inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa On the night of Ashura, Imam Hussain alayhi salam, he gathered all the companions together and he told them all that tomorrow all of you will become shaheed. None of you will survive. We started last night we started with the members of Bani Hashim, those shuhada. And specifically, we started with the youth of Bani Hashim. We mentioned the musibah, the shahada of on and Muhammad alayhi salam. One of the points we tried to mention, to underscore and to show was, it doesn't matter your age. When you have love for Imam Hussein alayhi salam, anything is possible. That strength, that energy, that zeal, that passion, that fervor can create miracles, create wonders. Children as young as 9 and 11 are able to learn how to fight in only a few minutes, go out into the battlefield and fight. Battle-trained, hardened warriors, people 2, 3, 4, 5 times their age, who have been doing nothing but fighting. And tonight we continue that with another one of the youths, one of our great youths, who gives us an example. You know, there's one story I want to share. A youth came once to Ayatollah Khamenei, and he was complaining to him. And this was during the time of the, it might either be Imam Khomeini or Ayatollah Khamenei, I'm not sure who. But it was during the time of the war between Iran and Iraq and Saddam, etc., etc. So when this happened, there was a lot of youth who wanted to go and enter into the war and to defend themselves and to defend their country and to fight against Saddam soldiers. So one of these youths, he came to, I believe it was Ayatollah Khamenei, if I'm not mistaken, and he complained. And he said, my parents aren't giving me permission to go and fight. Ayatollah Khamenei said, you're so young, you have your life still ahead of you. I can't give you I can't give you permission to go out and fight like this. And this child says to Ayatollah Khamenei, he says, then you have to stop doing one thing. He's telling Ayatollah Khamenei, you have to stop doing one thing. He says, what do you mean? What do I have to stop? He's like, if you're not going to give me permission to go and fight, then you need to stop reciting the musibah of Qasim ibn al-Hasan. If you're going to recite the musibah of Qasim ibn al-Hasan to show us as a role model to go out and fight, and you're also not going to allow us to go, he's like, that's not fair. If you're going to give us a role model of Qasim, then you have to let us go for it. To see the way that this musibah can affect individuals, even youth. Don't think that the musibah is just for adults. This is for youth as well, all of you who are young. This is Islam, Imam Hussein, the Shuhada, showing us what you're capable of at any age. 13, 9, 11, it doesn't matter. You have the strength, you're ready, you can become a true Shia and a Sahaba and a defender of your Imam when he returns. On that night of Ashura, when Imam Hussein is telling everyone that you'll become Shaheed, and he's showing everybody their maqam, their place in Jannah. Qasim comes running to his uncle, his Amma Hussein. He says, Ya Amma, ana mimma yuqtal gada. Am I going to be one of those who become Shaheed tomorrow too? Look how he's excited. He's not scared, he's excited. He says, I want to go out and become Shaheed. Will I become Shaheed? Will I be killed tomorrow? Imam Hussein doesn't directly give him a yes or no answer. He wants to test him. He wants to see where's his heart, where's his iman, how strong is he? He says, Ya Qasim, tell me, كيف الموت عندك? What do you think? How do you feel about death? Whenever you think about death, what do you think about? How is it? What is death to you? He says, أهلا من العسل. It's sweeter to me, it's better to me than honey. A 13-year-old giving an answer like this. How many of us in our 30s and 40s are scared of death? A 13-year-old is showing us death for somebody who has iman, who has love for the Ahlul Bayt, is sweeter than honey. But Qasim wasn't satisfied. He said, no, Ammu, tell me, will I become Shaheed or not? Again, Imam doesn't directly answer. He says, Hatta Ali al-Asghar. He says, even Ali al-Asghar will become Shaheed tomorrow. And Qasim is, he's confused, he's surprised. He says, Ali al-Asghar? He's like, he's going to become Shaheed? He's like, Ya Amma, will these individuals, these enemies, will they come into the tents and kill Ali al-Asghar like this? Is that how it happened? Hussein answers him, he says, no Qasim, I'll take him myself out into the desert plains of Karbala, and they'll shoot an arrow while I'm holding Asghar in my hands. He's getting Qasim ready to go out and become Shaheed. This is why some of the Ahl Tariq say this is what Qasim was crying on the night of Ashura. He wasn't scared of becoming Shaheed. He was scared because of what his uncle told him. Imagine if Hussein had told him, yes, he will go out and he will bring this and he will be killed, but he didn't tell Qasim, yes Qasim, but they still will come the next night and they will burn the tents with women and children inside. They will burn these things. Finally, Qasim now on Ashura is ready to go out for battle. And as usual, whenever someone came to battle, especially those as young as him, whenever they came, like on Muhammad, Hussein wouldn't give ijazah. He would turn his face away from them. Over and over, Qasim would keep asking, give me ijazah, let me go out, let me fight for you, please let me protect you. Qasim then falls to the feet of his uncle Hussein, begins kissing his feet. He says, please Ammo, let me go out, let me become shaheed for you, let me go for jihad. Now Qasim's heart is broken, Hussein's not giving him ijazah and permission. And as we said yesterday, what does a child do? A child with a broken heart, who do they go to? They always return back to their mother. Qasim returns back to Farwa. And he's complaining, he says, my uncle won't let me go out. What can I do? Can you help me? Please give me a way out of this. Find me. How can I get permission? Now put yourselves in the shoes of Farwa. What do you think she's thinking? He says, when Anna and Muhammad were given ijazah, it was Zainab who did shafa'ah and tawassul on their behalf. She was their wakil. But Farwa, with her khushu and her humility, is thinking, but Zainab and Hussein, her brother and sister, who am I to go to Hussein and ask for something? How can I ask something like this? Hussein, I don't have that closeness, I don't have that relationship. So now Farwa is confused, she doesn't know what to do, and she's stuck, confused. And then the thought occurs to her, she says, no, my husband Hassan left something for me. He's told me that there will be a day. He said, yeah, Farwa, there will be a day when you're confused, you'll be in a hardship, you won't know what to do, and I've left something for you. You take this, and this is what you'll use. You'll find this, you'll find yourself in extreme difficulty, this will be the way out for you. This ta'weed, this treasure, this amulet was left for her. They open that treasure chest, they take out this amulet, and inside they find two letters, one addressed to Qasim and Farwa, and one addressed to Imam Hussein. Together, mother and son start with the first letter. And they open the letter, and it says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, addressed to Qasim. Ya Qasim, Ya Bunayya. This is a father leaving his last wasiyah for his son. Ya Qasim, I won't be there to defend my brother on Karbala. You'll be my wakil, you'll be my na'ib, you'll be my wazim, you'll be my substitute there. You have to defend my brother. You know my brother will be surrounded on all sides. You have to go and protect him and defend him. Sacrifice yourself and protect my brother Hussein. Now, Qasim's tears of pain and sorrow before changed to tears of joy. Now he's happy, he's elated. He takes this letter and he takes the other letter addressed for Hussein. He now runs to Hussein. Before Hussein even opens that letter, that khushbu, that fragrance comes to Hussein's nose. When he smells this, he says, I know this smell, I haven't smelled it in a long time. This is the khushbu, this is the smell, the fragrance of my brother. He takes the letter, he puts it on his forehead, he kisses it. Then he begins to open it up with tears in his eyes. Bismillah ar-Rahman. Ya akhi, ya Hussein. Don't stop my Qasim for fighting for you. Don't stop him for going out for jihad, because I won't be there to protect you. I'm leaving Qasim on my behalf. This is my last wasiyah. Now this, brothers and sisters, understand, this is not a request from an older brother to a younger brother. This is the last request from an imam, the imam of Hussein to Hussein. Hassan was Hussein's imam. This is the last order of an imam. Perhaps this is when finally Hussein remembers, La yawma ka yawmuka ya Aba Abdullah. How was Hussein going to deny the request of his imam, his brother? When they finished reading this letter together, Qasim and Hussein hugged. They say they hugged and they cried for so long that both of them passed out right there. Finally, when they woke up, Hussein said, Qasim, now you have ijazah. Now you can go out and fight. Now the only thing left for you is to get permission from your mother and from your aunt Zainab. So Farwa then takes Qasim, he goes round and around to all the tents. They say their al-wida, they say khudafis and salam for the last time. Back to Hussein. Hussein takes a piece of cloth, he rips it into two pieces. He takes one and he ties it as a makeshift amama for Qasim. He takes the other piece and he ties it around the chest of Qasim. Ya Hussein, Qasim isn't even gone out to battle yet and you're already putting a coffin on his body. You're already wrapping him in a coffin. Hussein, do you know what's going to happen to him? Just like his cousin An Muhammad. Qasim was too small. Hussein had to help him get on the horse, put him on the saddle. Finally, as he goes and rides out to battle, he keeps turning around slowly and looking back. Qasim keeps turning back and looking at Farwa over and over again. Imagine a 13-year-old walking away from his mother knowing that he won't be coming back. Have any of you looked at your mother like this, knowing that it could be the last time you'll see your mother? When Qasim comes out to the battlefield, the enemies there have no idea what they're looking for. They said, it looks like the moon, the qamar is coming towards us. What is this beautiful child doing on the battlefield? How can we kill somebody like this? As the enemies start coming towards Qasim one by one, Qasim shows that he has the strength of Bani Hashim in him and he kills these enemies one by one. and this enrages all the soldiers. Finally, the champions of the army of Yazid, of Umar ibn Sa'd, come out, and they say, one of these soldiers comes, this Mal'un comes and says, I will definitely come out and kill this child. I will kill him, and I will strike him so hard that it breaks the back and it breaks the heart of Hussein. I'll make sure that he hears the bones break of Qasim all the way to the tent of Hussein. This cowardly man sneaks behind Qasim. He takes a lead pipe and with all this force strikes Qasim in the back. The books of Tariq, the Arbab, say that he struck him so hard with so much strength that right then and there the spine of Qasim was broken. Qasim's spine was broken. He fell down onto the sands of Karbala. And like everyone else, he turns back to the tents and he screams, Ya Amma, Adirki. Ya Amma, Adirki. Hussein and Abbas run out like lions towards the body of Qasim. When the enemies see this, when they see Hussein and Abbas coming towards them, they get scared, they get frightened. And now they violently, in chaos, they start running everywhere. The horses are moving all over the place. Dust is going everywhere. Mu'mineen, do you know? When everyone else had fallen down, whenever they had fallen, when Abbas had fallen, when Akbar had fallen, when Hur had fallen, when On Muhammad, when they had all fallen, they had all sent salam once. Every single one of them said, Assalamu alaikum ya Aba Abdullah. They said it once. Or if they said, Ya Hussein, Ya Mawla, Adrikni. They said this only once. Do you know that when Qasim fell, when he was on the plains, on the lands of Karbala, over and over again, he was saying, Amma Adrikni. Amma Adrikni. But every time he said it, his voice would get quieter and quieter and quieter. You know why, Mu'min? You know why this happened? His voice would get softer and fainter and fainter. Why? Because when those horses were running around in chaos, you know, Mu'mineen, every other body, after it was killed, when they were all dead, this is when Umar ibn Sa'd ordered that the horses trample the bodies of these individuals. Qasim was trampled by the horses while he was still while Qasim Hussein now has to pick up a body in that cloth in pieces and take this back. What mother is supposed to fall on a body when there's no body to fall on? ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون رضا بقضائه وتسليما لأمره. Ya Allah, we ask you by the right of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad, by the right of the Shuhada of Islam, by the right of this great warrior, this Shia, this defender, this mu'min, Qasim ibn al-Hassan, we ask you to forgive all mu'mineen, all mu'minat, all muslimeen, all muslimat. Ya Allah, no matter what our ages, we ask you to allow us to see Qasim ibn al-Hassan as a role model for our lives, to help him see that he was someone who kept useless things out of his life, and that's how he was able to see death as sweeter than honey. Allah, we ask you for that same tawfiq. Give us the tawfiq to keep away these useless things from our lives, to make our lives 100% spiritual, connect you in every single moment, in every single instant, to make sure we're spiritually improving so we can get to a level of Qasim, so we can see death sweeter than honey, so that inshallah we become those companions, those defenders, those supporters, those Shia of the Imam of the time. Wa akhiru da'awan. And alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
Hussein ko bana se na sambe, वापस हुसैन कर वो बला से ना सके। बिखरे हुए थे टुकड़े तने पाश पाश के, बिखरे हुए थे टुकड़े तने पाश पाश के। कासिम की लाश इस लिए रम से न ला सके। वापस हुसैन कर वो बला से न आ सके। जाओ से
जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से जाओ से। गजबात मसुगरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। गजबात मसुगरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। खतबात मसुगरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। खतबात मसुगरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। बीमार हूँ मरती हूँ, बीमार हूँ मरती हूँ, ये सब तुमको पता है। खतबात मसुगरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। खतबात मसुगरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। जिस रात से देखा है मुहर्रम का नया चाँद, जिस रात से देखा है मुहर्रम का नया चाँद, ये कैसे कहूँ बाबा, ये कैसे कहूँ बाबा कि दिल टूट गया है। खतबात मसुगरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। खतबात मसुगरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। खतबात मसुगरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। वादा तो किया बाबा निभाने नहीं आए। वादा तो किया बाबा निभाने नहीं आए। बीमार से किस बात, बीमार से किस बात पे मुंह मोड़ लिया है। खतबात मसुगरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। खतबात मसुगरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। बीमार हूँ मरती हूँ, बीमार हूँ मरती हूँ, ये सब तुमको पता है। खतबात मसुगरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। खतबात मसुगरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। बाबा मुझे डसती है ये तन्हाई वतन की। बाबा मुझे डसती है ये तन्हाई वतन की। ये गई की उदासी है, ये गई की उदासी है, तो फिर क्या है। खतबात मसुगरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। खतबात मसुगरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। खतबात मसुगरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। लौटाते हैं घर शाम के होते हैं परिंदे, घर लाते कद फातिमा सुहरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। तुम जाते गए बाबा घर से ये घर नहीं, तुम जाते गए बाबा ये घर मेरा नहीं। जिंदा हूँ मैं ऐसे, जिंदा हूँ मैं ऐसे कि लाशा को पड़ा है। कद फातिमा सुहरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। कद फातिमा सुहरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। बाबा मेरे सिर का तो कुछ हाल सुनाओ, बाबा मेरे सिर का कुछ हाल सुनाओ। मुझको मुझको कहीं याद किया है। कद फातिमा सुहरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। कद फातिमा सुहरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। जिस रोज से देखा है मुहर्रम का नया चाँद, जिस रोज से देखा है मुहर्रम का नया चाँद, ये कैसे कहूँ बाबा, ये कैसे कहूँ बाबा के दिल टूट गया है। कद फातिमा सुहरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। कद फातिमा सुहरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। बीमार हूँ मरती हूँ, बीमार हूँ मरती हूँ, ये सब तुमको पता है। कद फातिमा सुहरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। कद फातिमा सुहरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। जाओ से
Ali, Ali, lai, lai. Ali, lai, lai, 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 Ali, Ali, lai, lai. La 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 la, گل بابا دیگه صفا نمیتونم بیام. لا لا لا، گل بابا بخواب اصلا مادرت شیر نداره. لا 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 لا، گل یادم در حراسم هر مله رو ندید. قاتل تو برزکیه در کمینه تا که یادمو بچینه، در کمینه تا که یادمو بچینه. بارون میباره از چشمام، جون نداره پام، موندم بارون میباره از چشمام، جون نداره پام، موندم مرد افتاده بر حرفم، جون نداره رو دستم، جونه پام. علی لای لای، علی لای لای، علی لای لای، علی علی لای لای، 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 علی لای لای. گل سنبول چه قشنگ گل زدی تو چشمای با لا 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 دل بریدی پر کشیدی از روی دستای با وقتی ساقی آب نیاورد تشنه لب خورد وقتی دیدم مادر تو وقتی ساقی آب نیاورد تشنه لب خورد وقتی دیدم مادر تو دم گوشش گفتم آروم دم گوشش گفتم آروم تا نشد بی سیر نگاه کن از سر تو غم میکشم از دل با خنده قاتل ای دل ای دل غم میکشم از دل با خنده قاتل ای دل ای دل خیمه گم کردم گرز غم و دردم ای دل ای دل علی لایلا علی لایلا علی لایلا علی لایلا علی لایلا بیقرارم ناله دارم دلم از ساق تو خونه بیقرارم ناله دارم دلم از ساق تو خونه گل لاله به 3 ساله چی بگم خدا میدونه گل لاله به 3 ساله چی بگم خدا میدونه همه سر رو طاقتم کرد تا صدای کف و هلهله بلند شد همه سر رو طاقتم کرد تا صدای کف و هلهله بلند شد پیش چشمام زیر تیز دشمن هنجر کبوس بند شد خون شد دلم برای تو هنوز چشای تو نیمه بازه خون شد دلم برای تو هنوز چشای تو نیمه بازه میخوام دفنت کنم تا که پرورشی زیر نده تازه غم میکشم از دل با خنده قاتل غم میکشم از دل با خنده قاتل خیمه رو گم کردم گرز غم و دردم ای علی لایلا 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 علی لایلا
सलवात सलाम पे या फातिमा ज़हरा, हम आए हैं पुरसे के लिए फातिमा ज़हरा। सलवातो सलाम आप पे या फातिमा ज़हरा, सलवातो सलाम आप पे या फातिमा ज़हरा, हम आए हैं पुरसे के लिए फातिमा ज़हरा। सलवातो सलाम आप पे या फातिमा ज़हरा, सलवातो सलाम आप पे या फातिमा ज़हरा, हम आए हैं पुरसे के लिए फातिमा ज़हरा। सलवातो सलाम आप पे या फातिमा ज़हरा, सलवातो सलाम आप पे या फातिमा ज़हरा, हम आए हैं पुरसे के लिए फातिमा ज़हरा। हम देते हैं पुरसा तुम्हें आबाद से जरीका, हम देते हैं पुरसा तुम्हें आबाद से जरीका, और अकबर दिलगीर गया फातिमा ज़हरा। सलवातो सलाम आप पे या फातिमा ज़हरा, सलवातो सलाम आप पे या फातिमा ज़हरा, हम आए हैं पुरसे के लिए फातिमा ज़हरा। ज़ैनब का पितर दोनों मोहम्मद का भी पुरसा, ज़ैनब के पितर दोनों मोहम्मद का भी पुरसा, और असग़री में शीर गया फातिमा ज़हरा। सलवातो सलाम आप पे या फातिमा ज़हरा, सलवातो सलाम आप पे या फातिमा ज़हरा, हम आए हैं पुरसे के लिए फातिमा ज़हरा। अब्बास जो लश्कर का तसर्वर के अलमदार, अब्बास जो लश्कर का तसर्वर के अलमदार, दरिया पे उसे हस्र किया फातिमा ज़हरा। सलवातो सलाम आप पे या फातिमा ज़हरा, सलवातो सलाम आप पे या फातिमा ज़हरा, हम आए हैं पुरसे के लिए फातिमा ज़हरा। बाबाल किया हाथ में बेघर की लाश हो, बाबाल किया हाथ में बेघर की लाश हो, कोबरा को भी बेबाकी है या फातिमा ज़हरा। सलवातो सलाम आप पे या फातिमा ज़हरा, सलवातो सलाम आप पे या फातिमा ज़हरा, हम आए हैं पुरसे के लिए फातिमा ज़हरा। कांटों से सकीना के उतारे गए गौहर, कांटों से सकीना के उतारे गए गौहर, ज़ैनब की भी छीनी है रिदा फातिमा ज़हरा। सलवातो सलाम आप पे या फातिमा ज़हरा, सलवातो सलाम आप पे या फातिमा ज़हरा, हम आए हैं पुरसे के लिए फातिमा ज़हरा। सलवातो सलाम आप पे या फातिमा ज़हरा, सलवातो सलाम आप पे या फातिमा ज़हरा, हम आए हैं पुरसे के लिए फातिमा ज़हरा। या हुसैन 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 या हुसैन।
أقاتل القوم بقلب مهنات أبو الفضل، أقاتل القوم بقوم مهنات
أبا الفضل،
أدب عن سبط النبي أحمد
أبا الفضل،
أدب عن سبط النبي أحمد
أبا الفضل،
أضربكم بالصائم المهند
أبا الفضل،
حتى تحيد عن قتال سيدي. إني أنا العباس ذا التودد، إني أنا العباس ذا التودد،
أبا الفضل،
إني أنا العباس ذا التودد،
أبا الفضل،
أجل علي المرتضى المؤيد،
أبا الفضل،
أرهب الموت إذ الموت سقى،
أبا الفضل،
تأوى ميتا عند اللقاء،
أبا الفضل،
نفسي لطاهر الدهر يقال،
أبا الفضل،
إني صبور شاكر في المنطقة،
أبا الفضل،
إني أنا العباس صعب في اللقاء،
أبا الفضل،
نفسي نفس طاهر الدهر يقال،
أبا الفضل،
والله إن قطعتم يميني،
أبا الفضل،
والله إن قطعتم يميني،
أبا الفضل،
إني أحامي أبدا عن ديني،
أبا الفضل،
وعن إمام صادق يحيي،
أبا الفضل،
ست النبي الطاهر الأمين،
أبا الفضل،
نبي الصدق جاءنا بالدين،
أبا الفضل،
مصدقا بالواحد الأمين،
أبا الفضل،
يا نفس من بعد الحسين هوني،
أبا الفضل،
يا نفس من بعد الحسين هوني،
أبا الفضل،
وبعده لا كنت أو تكوني،
أبا الفضل،
هذا حسين شارب المنون،
أبا الفضل،
وتشربين بارد المعين،
أبا الفضل،
هيهات ما هذا فعال ديني،
أبا الفضل،
ولا فعال
صادق يقيني
أبو الفضل
لنفس الشيء من الكفار
أبو الفضل
وأبشري برحمة الجبار
أبو الفضل
مع النبي سيد الأبرار
أبو الفضل
قطعوا ببغيهم يساري
أبو الفضل
وأصلهم يا ربي حر النار
أبو الفضل
وأصلهم يا ربي حر النار
أبو الفضل
يا حسين
يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين
السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا حبيب الله السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين علي حجة الله السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين السلام عليك يا خديجة الكبرى السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين السلام عليك يا علي بن الحسين زين العابدين السلام عليك محمد بن أبي بكر النبيين السلام عليك جعفر بن محمد الصادق السلام عليك موسى بن جعفر القادم السلام عليك علي بن موسى رضا السلام عليك محمد بن أبي الجواد السلام عليك علي بن محمد الحادي السلام عليك حسن بن علي الزكي العسكري السلام عليك يا صاحب يسر الزمان الأمان من جدة الزمان السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن السلام عليك يا إمام الزمان هذا أجل الله فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك وزمان السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Just an announcement, I'll say that in Arabic, this is only for the Arabic scholars. Because we need a group of people to stay upstairs for capacity reasons downstairs, okay? So الإخوان العرب لو سمحتوا تبقوا فوق الأكل بيطلع لكم إن شاء الله. لو سمحتوا صلوا على محمد وعلى
حسينيات يزيديات يزيديات